The movie opens with scenes of devastation from a tsunami in Asa village, Indonesia. Massive waves have completely destroyed the coastline. Hundreds of people are missing, and rescue operations are facing serious difficulties. Arya, quoting a rescue worker named Mr. Panji, describes the terrible condition of the relief camp near the Al-Mashiar Mosque in Benton. He explains that even 5 days after the disaster, people are still deeply traumatized. Talking about the pain of children who have lost their parents, Arya appeals to everyone present to help. He urges people to support the victims financially. As he speaks, people begin donating whatever they can. In the next scene, Arya and his mother, Laris, are cleaning out a storage room. Meanwhile, on TV, Arya's father, Malik, is shown coordinating the tsunami relief operation in Benton. In fact, Malik is the Deputy Minister of Social Welfare. While sorting through the room, Arya finds a box filled with paintings he made as a child. Laris explains that she kept all of his childhood drawings as memories. She reminds Arya of a time when he came home crying from school because his religion teacher had said that people may never know which sin will prevent them from crossing the Sirat and cause them to fall into hell. Just then, Malik returns home. After arriving, he watches a heartbreaking video on his laptop. In it, a man is begging for help to rescue his child trapped under debris after the tsunami and pleading for immediate aid to be sent to Asa village. Arya then shows his father the childhood paintings. Looking emotional, Malik admits that he made a huge mistake in his life, something he now deeply regrets. Later that night, Malik prepares to leave again. He tells Laris that he has urgent work and asks her not to wait up for him, but as soon as he steps outside, his secretary stops him, saying that according to protocol he cannot go alone and must take him along. Because of this, Malik returns home. He then goes to Arya's room, wakes him up, and says he desperately needs his help. Realizing how serious the situation is, Arya agrees and secretly drives Malik out, hiding him in the car. Just then, the secretary arrives and tells Arya to stop the car. Arya gets nervous, but the secretary simply hands him something he found outside. As soon as they leave, the secretary makes a phone call to someone. On the way, Arya asks where they're going. Malik tells him they're heading to his old house. He also admits that the mistake he made wasn't just a small one, it was a grave sin. Just before entering the toll plaza, as Arya gets distracted while putting on his seatbelt, a car suddenly comes from the front and crashes straight into them. Arya's car plunges into the river. Somehow, he manages to escape the vehicle and swims to the shore, only to see something terrifying. The Shiratal Mustaqim bridge, suspended above hell itself, appears right before his eyes. The scene cuts to a hospital. Arya regains consciousness and sees his mother Laris beside him. He keeps asking about his father over and over again. Laris tries to calm him down, telling him to stay strong during this difficult time. Then she breaks the devastating news. His father was buried just yesterday. Arya refuses to believe it. He desperately wants to go and see his father, breaking down in tears. Laris tries to make him understand that his father is gone. At that moment, Social Welfare Minister Alim arrives and informs them that the truck driver responsible for the accident has surrendered, admitting he dozed off, which caused the crash. Alim also explains that the government plans to withdraw all the benefits previously granted to Arya's father. However, seeing their condition, he promises to give them some time. Laris humbly responds that they don't deserve those benefits anymore and suggests they should be given to the new deputy minister instead. Alim then reveals that Malik had refused security protocols that day, which is why the accident happened. If the guards had been there, things might have been different. After Alim leaves, Laris's friend Panji, a rescue worker, comes to visit. He explains that he couldn't come earlier because he was busy searching for missing people after a tsunami. Hearing that Arya has regained consciousness brings him relief. In front of Panji, Laris finally opens up about her pain. She says she feels nothing and still can't believe that Malik is gone. A part of her keeps waiting for him to come back. She regrets the last memories they shared. Panji suggests that Laris should return to her work as a medical volunteer to help cope with the grief, but she refuses because that's where she first met Malik. She wonders why such a good man had to leave so soon and starts to feel that maybe Malik wanted to be free from this world forever. Just then, a nurse comes and takes Laris away. In the next scene, Laras is watching an old video, a joyful moment from her birthday. Malik and Arya are surprising her. Malik gives her a necklace, saying that in his absence, this gift will serve as a part of him. Meanwhile, Arya suddenly hears his father's voice. Startled, he notices blood on the floor behind a curtain and a shadowy figure lurking there. But when he pulls the curtain aside, there's nothing. Then suddenly, his father appears right in front of his face. Arya screams in terror. Laras rushes in and tries to calm him down. Shaking with fear, Arya tells her that he saw his father, covered in blood, badly injured, begging for help. You're starting to suspect the director. Arya says this is all part of Aleem's plan, and with that, he gets up and leaves. That night, Lars has a disturbing dream where Malik is putting that necklace around her neck. Suddenly, the atmosphere turns terrifying. Lars hears the strange, horrifying voice of her dead husband Malik. His spirit asks her if she's happy, and over again, it cries out for help. Lars then sees herself standing in the wreckage of a tsunami, surrounded by dead bodies. Terrified, she screams. Right then, the scene shifts to a rescue operation. Panji and his team are trying to help a victim, carefully lifting him into a vehicle. That's when he comes across a man carrying his wife's corpse on a stretcher. Panji asks him the name of his village. The man says he's from Asa village and sadly explains that no government help has reached their area. He says he spent days searching alone through the debris to find his wife. Now, he just wants to bury her in his village. Panji assures him that he'll get full support. Seeing the man's injuries, Panji becomes deeply concerned. He checks the list of active SR teams in Asa village but realizes he doesn't know anyone there. The next day, Arya goes to Aleem and shows him audio recordings and proof that exposes how the relief fund for Asa village was embezzled. He asks why his father was involved in this corruption. Aleem tells Arya not to act so naive. He argues that Arya's father only wanted to keep his wife and child happy, and he sees nothing wrong with doing anything for family happiness. Arya realizes that his father did make a mistake and must have felt ashamed. But hearing Aleem's shameless justification leaves him confused. Aleem keeps insisting that doing anything for family isn't a crime. After that, Arya returns home and tells his mother, Lars, that his car and her expensive necklace were both bought using money from the Asa Village Relief Fund. Arya expresses his hatred for his father and says the morals he was taught now feel meaningless. He wants a corrupt minister like Aleem to be punished and demands that the case be reopened. Lars becomes anxious. She says if the case is reopened, the government will find out everything, and Arya's father will be disgraced forever. She insists that whatever sin his father committed, they will atone for it together. But Arya, filled with anger, says there's no point in fixing a thief's mistakes. Lars reminds him that no matter what, Malik is still his father. Then, a flashback shows Malik gifting Arya a brand new car on his birthday. Arya was overjoyed. The two of them take the car out for a test drive, laughing together, while Malik proudly tells him how proud he is of his son. Suddenly, Malik's mood shifts. He turns serious and says he shouldn't have done that to them. Arya, confused, asks who he's talking about. The atmosphere instantly becomes tense and terrifying. The moving car mysteriously shuts down. Arya keeps calling out to his father, but Malik suddenly disappears. In the blink of an eye, Arya finds himself standing on the Surat Bridge. His father appears there, repeatedly begging, Arya, help me, help your father. And then, suddenly, Arya falls down as well. Arya wakes up screaming from his sleep. Meanwhile, Laras is sitting and watching a video where an imam explains that Allah has the power to connect the souls of the living and the dead during sleep. These special dreams act as a medium, where the dead can reach out to the living, asking for help to complete unfinished tasks or repay their debts. Just then, Arya comes to his mother, Laras, and tells her that he saw his father in a dream last night. In the dream, his father was in pain, suffering, and desperately asking for help. Arya believes that his father might need his help to cross the Surat Bridge in the afterlife. Laras reveals that she saw him in her dream too. She agrees with Arya and says that it is the family's greatest duty to fulfill the worldly responsibilities and debts of someone who has passed away. They decide to do everything they can to bring peace to Malik's soul. They then find a video on Malik's laptop. In the video, a man is trapped under rubble, desperately begging for help to save his child and asking for immediate rescue. After watching this, Arya asks his mother if there's any chance his father's sins can be forgiven. Lars recalls a religious sermon, saying that if a deceased person's unfinished work is completed by their family, there might be a chance their sins could be forgiven. She wants to give her husband one last chance. In the middle of this discussion, the doorbell rings. A man arrives with a package. Arya feels like he recognizes him from somewhere. He goes inside and opens the package, only to find a note and 2 bullets inside. The note reads, "Enjoy the property or face death." They immediately realize it was sent by Aleem. In this tense situation, Arya and Laris prepare for their next move. Laris decides they should go somewhere safe. She plans to sell her expensive necklace and their car, and mix that money with the funds Malik had stolen. With that money, they will buy relief materials for the Asa village, so that what Malik took unfairly can be returned. Lara says that the judgment for Aleem's corruption will be decided by God. She only wants to reduce the burden of her husband's sins. Finally, Arya and Laris load up a truck with relief supplies and set off on their journey. When they arrive at the relief camp, they realize that Aleem is already there. So, they quickly hide. Lars and Arya reach Panji with the relief supplies. Panji is shocked to see so much aid and asks Lars where it all came from. Lars bluntly tells him that the relief fund meant for Asa village has been embezzled. Hearing the owner's name, Panji is stunned. Arya explains that they match the fake expense reports created by his father with the current situation. When Lars checks the information about the rescue team supposedly sent to Asa village, she finds that there is no record of them in the government database. That's when they realize this is a massive fraud, and Asa village hasn't received any real help. Even 10 days after the tsunami, the village is still surviving without aid. With the threat of aftershocks, if relief doesn't reach soon, the death toll will rise. Lars and Arya grow deeply concerned. Panji suggests contacting the government, but Lars immediately stops him. She clearly states that Minister Aleem is directly involved in this corruption. She fears that if Aleem finds out they know the truth, he'll have them killed. Arya adds that Aleem is already planning to steal the next phase of funds and has deliberately cut off Asa village from all support. At first, Panji refuses to let Lars and Arya take such a risk and suggests sending help through an official rescue team. But Arya convinces him that Aleem's influence is everywhere, so they'll have to act on their own. Eventually, Panji agrees. Together, they prepare to send aid to Asa village and head toward their vehicle. But just then, Aleem spots them. His secretary immediately makes another phone call. Seeing children playing nearby triggers a memory in Arya's mind. In the past, a young Arya was happily playing in a park with his father Malik. Suddenly, a girl screams. Arya turns and sees her crying uncontrollably beside her father's dead body. The scene shakes him to his core. Later at home, young Arya asks his father why the man isn't waking up. Malik calmly explains that every living person must eventually leave this world. Arya says he never wants his parents to leave him. Remembering his own father's death, Malik gently tells Arya that the only place where people reunite after death is heaven, where no one is ever separated again. Arya then asks how one can reach heaven. Malik tells him he'll explain everything the next day and asks him to go to sleep. The following day, Lars notices young Arya carefully working on a painting. Arya explains that he's painting the bridge of Shiratal Mustaqim. They quickly pack their things and make a run for it. Just then, they hear the roar of the killer's motorcycle and hide. Panji suddenly jumps out from cover and attacks the killer, shouting at Lars and Arya to run. Arya grabs his mother along with the essential medicines and starts running. Moments later, they hear a gunshot in the distance. Lars instantly realizes that Panji is dead. Arya tries to calm her down, telling her they have to keep moving. But Lars, overwhelmed with shock and grief, breaks down screaming. In the pouring rain, Arya encourages his mother, saying they still have to save the tsunami victims. Gasping for breath, the two push forward. When they arrive, they find hundreds of dead bodies lying around. Suddenly, they hear a woman screaming. Lars and Arya rush toward the sound and discover a woman trapped under debris. Together, they try to lift a heavy iron beam to rescue her. As soon as they move the beam, they see that the woman is holding her dead child in her arms. Arya pulls her out from the rubble, while Lars clutches the lifeless child and breaks down in tears. Suddenly, the woman starts vomiting blood and takes her last breath. Horrifyingly, the vomit is filled with decaying maggots. Arya, devastated, says they arrived too late. But Lars tells him that many people still need their help, and they can't give up now. Arya spots someone in the distance and calls out for help, but Lars immediately realizes it's the same killer. She screams and tells Arya to run. The killer cocks his pistol, ready to fire, but just then, Panji reappears and stops him. A brutal fight breaks out, but in the end, the killer shoots Panji dead. After that, the killer moves toward Arya and Lars. Lars tries to ambush him, but fails. She puts herself in harm's way to protect Arya and gets badly injured. Arya rushes in to save his mother, but he can't hold his ground either. Suddenly, the ceiling starts collapsing. In a desperate move, Lars pushes the killer, and the falling roof crashes down on him, crushing him to death. But in the process, Lars also gets trapped under the rubble. Arya rushes to pull his mother out from the debris. After that, Arya moves forward carrying relief supplies, but completely exhausted, he collapses to the ground. The scene then shifts back to the past. A young Arya tells his mother that after the Day of Judgment, all the dead will surely be brought back to life. Then, he tells his father that in the field of judgment, everyone's good and bad deeds will be accounted for. Arya even shows a painting he made of the Shiratal Mustaqim bridge. The scene now transitions to the Day of Judgment, where all people are resurrected and the sun hangs terrifyingly close overhead. The air echoes with prayers, pleas for forgiveness, and at the same time, horrifying screams of pain. Malik explains to Arya that the true bridge to heaven, the Shiratal Mustaqim, is actually the Holy Quran. The story then returns to the present. Arya apologizes to the victims of Asa village on behalf of his father. He expresses deep regret that they arrived with help far too late. The scene cuts, and Arya is seen watching the news. The report reveals that evidence of corruption involving Minister Aleem and Malik has surfaced through a viral social media thread. However, due to lack of sufficient proof, the court declares Aleem innocent. Suddenly, Aleem calls Arya and arrogantly says that the law of this country cannot touch a powerful man like him. He blames Arya for his foolishness, saying the money ended up going back to the village, and warns that Arya will have to face the consequences. The scene shifts again to the Day of Judgment. As Aleem tries to cross the Pool Sirat, he sees that the bridge is made of money. Overjoyed, he confidently walks across it. But moments later, that very money betrays him, causing him to fall straight into hell, where his punishment begins instantly. Back in the present, Lars is praying when, in the next room, Arya is suddenly shot. Hearing the gunshot, Lars rushes in, but the attacker shoots her as well, and shockingly, the shooter is the same secretary. The scene returns to the Pool Sirat. Arya calmly and effortlessly crosses the bridge and enters heaven. There, he reunites with his mother. After their emotional reunion, Arya asks his final question, "Mom, where is Dad?" They then see Malik on the bridge. As he tries to cross, the bridge begins to break apart. Somehow, he manages to hold himself steady. A flashback shows young Arya asking his father if they will truly meet again in heaven. Malik responds emotionally that hope is a good thing, but the final decision lies in Allah's hands. He adds that even if they don't meet again in heaven, Arya should always know that being his father in this world made Malik incredibly proud and grateful. The scene returns once more to the Day of Judgment. Malik gathers himself and manages to climb back onto the bridge. But just moments later, it breaks apart again, and he falls into the fires of hell. And with that, the movie comes to an end.